Hello everyone, welcome back to Damon James Media. It has been a while since I posted my last video, and you may have noticed if you have been following me at all on LinkedIn, on Facebook, or on Instagram that I did take a quick shift there. I went more into photography and have now since focused on the business side of media. So my goal is to ultimately help people and my clients, as well as anybody who is a small business owner out there, to be more successful. Use media, social media marketing, branding, and other methods to make sure that they're capturing the best that they can for their clients and their customers as well, I should say. So there has been a slight shift. That being said, let's jump right into today's video. So on today's video, I wanted to talk a little more about what's going on in the world with COVID-19, but more specifically, 3 things that businesses can do, immediately actionable things that small businesses especially can do to make sure that you're set up the best for success. So I'm not going to delve into politics, whether it's on the stimulus package side of things or anything else going on. I am going to talk about 3 things that you can do right now if you are a business owner or somebody who's managing a business that will help you to be more successful, to prepare for the long term here with COVID-19 and what the outcomes are being. So with the outcomes that we are looking at to be more successful, the first thing that businesses will want to do is take a financial status check of what the businesses look like. And this is something that honestly is my least favorite thing to do. So definitely keep in mind that I am not telling you go spend a ton of money on a consultant and look at the financials of your business and see if you can, weigh the long-term profitability against your short-term losses and look at business loans and all these other things that are actually possibilities for you. What I'm saying is realize where you're at right now. So where do you sit today, and what would you have to accomplish to be able to keep your business running? So what is your minimum viable income or revenue for the business to be able to stay alive? And I think that minimum viable revenue or your bottom line is very essential for you as a business owner or a manager to knowing whether or not you're in a solvent situation. You're able to keep the lights on and running if we get past this in 2 months or 3 months or 6 months, and what that looks like. So for instance, if you know your minimum revenue that you have to make to pay all your employees, keep the lights on, keep insurance running, whatever it might be, then you're also able to gauge exactly what you have to bring in, not to be profitable in long term, but how can we mitigate the short-term losses so that you can be profitable in the long term. So the second thing you can do, take advantage of remote working. So number 2 is huge. I think that a lot of businesses who are non-retail have strayed away from remote working sometimes in the past because they're afraid that it's hard to manage employees. And I think that that's something that we need to reconsider. 10 years ago, we were able to work remotely with all the technology we had in video conferencing. And I think it's more prevalent today than ever. You can jump on any form of video conferencing, even via your cell phone. So there's not a necessity to even sit in front of a computer, to be connected to an Ethernet port over a hub. There's nothing that's crazy that's keeping you from being able to network and manage productivity day in, day out. Along with that, I want to provide this food for thought. If you are a leader, a true leader in business, not a manager per se, but a leader, leaders will realize that there's a huge difference between managing the outcomes of certain things and decisions that you want to make or don't want to make. And a lot of those can be more financially based. Some of those decisions can be hard decisions. But leaders will realize that there's a lot more that you can do. Engaging productivity has never been based off of whether or not you're able to sit in front of somebody. Leading people just involves you being able to understand what your employees need the most and want the most out of their work, as well as what your clients and your customers need the most or want the most out of their product or service, right? So at the end of the day, needs and wants are huge, and I would definitely encourage you to think as leaders how you can impact your business in a very positive way right now by keeping the morale high, by keeping people employed, by delivering the most that you can when you can have your doors open, or looking at those alternative methods to keep some revenue coming in. And that's where, again, tip number one, minimum viable revenue, or a minimum revenue that you need to succeed to keep those lights on. And then tip number two, look at your remote working and absolutely think outside of the box here. Make sure that you have the right leaders in place to be able to work remote, because that's going to be huge. If you can't lead somebody and you are always relying on face-to-face or fear tactics or different sales methods that may or may not be as productive with the distance that we're under right now, then you will probably be less successful in the long run, and with what COVID-19 is throwing at us right now anyway. So tip number three is, once you've leveraged that remote side of work and you've started to think about what that looks like, you have your minimum viable revenue, right? Like how you're going to keep your lights on. Come up with an engagement plan. Think about your brand long term and think about your brand short term. So how can you engage your customers the short term and the long term? So I think that's huge. A lot of us don't really think about branding enough, and I think that we should be more cognizant of what our brand means to us. And outside of the politics of what's going on in the world with COVID-19, I think there is a lot of positivity that could go into us looking at the benefits of people being able to help each other right now. So what that means is, when somebody offers to help you, or if you have somebody like myself who says, hey, I'd love to sit down and have a quick consultation with you and just give you outside perspective on your business, or what you might be able to do differently in this day and age. Maybe take that time, if we have the extra time, and think about sitting down with that person and just go ahead and do it. I mean, at the end of the day, you could be sitting with the next Gary Vaynerchuk, you could be sitting with the next Michael Dell, you could be sitting with the next Bill Gates. You don't know where somebody's going to be 10 years from now, but they may have a lot of insight to offer. And if nothing else, I can promise you this, sitting down with somebody or looking at your business, looking at your strategy, thinking your short-term brand and your long-term brand, how you can deliver a product or service to your customers, your clients, will give you outside perspective, right? If that is not from a business standpoint, maybe it's from the customer's point of view, right? That could be a potential customer or market that you serve at some point in the future. Or it's just perspective to validate what you already know that's different, and you're saying, okay, I understand where that person's coming from, but I think I'm going to move in this different direction because I believe these outcomes are going to be a little bit better. That's it. There's 3 very quick and easy tips to help you manage your business right now in a very impactful way with COVID-19. All right, I hope those tips helped. We'll recap those. I'll throw them up on the screen there for you, and make sure that you have all that. If you did like this video, or if you're watching it, great on YouTube. If you are not watching it, I should say, and you are looking at you're listening to the podcast, definitely either think about clicking that subscribe button for the podcast if that's your form of digesting information. Follow me on LinkedIn or follow me on YouTube. All of those are very viable options, and I'm going to be releasing a lot more to help you guys hopefully over the next few. And my goal is to keep all these videos very short, hopefully to give you something to take away and use today for your business. All right, I hope that helps. Thanks again for watching or listening to Damon James Media.